Hello, my friends. If you have been looking around for carpets, perhaps you have heard the story that some dealers say. The weavers of Persian rugs intentionally introduce flaws or refuse to correct their mistakes because they believe no one is perfect but Allah. Well, it is not true. Many Persian rugs do have flaws, and in fact, these imperfections often add to their charm. There are two main reasons for these irregularities. The first one is very obvious to anyone who has ever tied a knot, and that is, in most of the cases, it is much more difficult to undo a knot than making one. In most cases, the weaver notices flaw only after several rows of knots are tied and wefts laid in. At that stage, going back means untying hundreds, sometimes thousands of knots, something that is not only difficult, but also, quite frankly, heartbreaking after so much hard work. The second reason applies especially to village and tribal rugs, where the weavers often work without naqsha, which is a drafted design on graph paper that dictates the color of each knot to the weaver. For those weavers, there is also a cultural dimension, something that can perhaps be better understood through a comparison with Persian poetry. In that world, rhyme, meter, and rhythm are shaped by strict rules. There are structures to follow and patterns to respect. Yet, at times, the poet resists these constraints to the benefit of the substance. Rumi, one of the greatest Persian poets, speaks of this in his book of Shams. It reads like this: رستم از این نفس و هوا زنده بلا مرده بلا زنده و مرده وطنم نیست به جز فضل خدا رستم از این بیت و غزل ای شه و سلطان ازل مفتعلون 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 کشت مرا قافیه و مغلطه را گو همه سیلاب ببر پوست بود در خور مغز شعرا. Which in essence means he declares himself free from the self and its desires, belonging instead to the realm of the Almighty and freed from the restraints of rhyme and rhythm. He goes on to suggest that many poets are merely shells without a kernel. This impulse to break away from rigid structure is not confined to poetry. It finds its echo in weaving in much the same way. Some weavers move beyond strict forms, norms, and symmetry and simply weave to express themselves through colors and motifs. What might appear as a flaw is at times the very moment where the work becomes most alive. This is where certain rugs acquire their mysterious appeal, becoming far more intriguing than others. Such weavers stand with Rumi, not merely as craftsmen, but as soul weavers.